Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dhammang saranang gacchāmi. Sanghang saranang gacchāmi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabhi sata sukhi hontu. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Sudah makan? Sudah kenyang? Mau tidur? In modern Pali, there is a verse which is very important during Dhamma sessions. It's called Jangan Tidur. Very glad to be back. And my surprise, there's so many people in the afternoon. I thought it's a different kind of session. In the afternoon session, normally people take a break, people take rest, and then become active again towards evening. But anyway, I'm so glad that you made an effort. And being here is testimony of our interest to learn Dhamma. My dear friends, when I come to Singapore, I have nothing for you. I didn't bring anything for you. I have nothing to give, but only Dhamma. So please take this humble gift and then keep it with you. Hopefully it can be useful. My teacher, he lived in a kampung, in a rural area. I have to take a bus, change another bus. And with a waiting time, it takes about 1.5 hours by bus. Go through all the kampung. And his temple was very simple. His temple was about 2 acres, very manageable. There were only 2 buildings, the kuti and the sala. There were no images outside. There were only some trees. So simple that many people find there is nothing for them to see. About 4 kilometers down the same road, further in, there is another Thai temple, big one, maybe about 8 acres. Lots of images. Whatever you want is there. Buddha, Kuan Yin, what you call laughing one, smiling one, standing one, sitting one, reclining one, all kinds of things people like. And then more importantly, they have activities people like Puat Cui, sprinkle water. And you can also go sauna. And also you can wash your car. Wash car. For a person, they sprinkle water. For the car, they spray water. So it's like car wash. And lots of what you call amulets and all those kinds of things. So people, when they turn in the road, the first temple they see, there's a sign. Oh, there's a temple here. So they turn in. They say, is this the place where we can get all kinds of blessings? This is what my teacher used to say. He said, I have nothing to offer you here. I only have the Dhamma. So please accept my humble gift. Keep it with you. One day you might find it very useful. So many people say, what's the Dhamma for us? We come here for blessing. We come here for security. We come here to get some power. So if we just listen to you, not even chanting, only teaching, what can we gain? So they ask, do you have tangkai ubo? Amulet, all kinds of things. Puat Cui ubo? Chang Cui ubo? I said, bo. But you can go there. There's another temple. So they just got on the car, went to the temple, and got all the things they want. So during weekends, we have, car number plates from all over the place, from all the cities, all the other states, coming all in and get a car wash and get sprinkled water and get amulets and so on. But they miss the Dhamma. They got everything they wanted to get, but they didn't get what they needed to get. And that is the Dhamma. So I have nothing to offer you, my dear friends. So please accept this humble sharing of the Dhamma. Yeah. This morning we have touched on the 3 verses from the Buddha Vagga. And today I think I'm trying to be a bit more adventurous to try 5 verses. I heard you have until 8 p.m., so that's not a problem. Okay. Anyone want to back up? Huh? Right. Firstly, just like the morning, I'd like to tell you a little bit the background of this verse. Yeah. When did the Buddha say so? Because in the collection of Dhammapada, there is always a history to all the utterances of the Buddha. There was a particular occasion where the Buddha would teach all this. And the occasion was such. You know, there are 16 kingdoms during the Buddha's time. They are called Solasa Mahajanapada. Solasa means 16. Mahajanapad means countries, entities, polities. The largest of the two largest ones were Magadha and Kosala. So this happened to a Brahmin from Kosala. The king during Buddha's time, the king of Kosala, his name was Pasenadi. But his father's name was Mahakoshala. And Mahakoshala, as usual, had a spiritual advisor. Yeah? Had a priest, a Brahmin priest, a Vedant priest. And that priest's name was Agidata. Now, the royal priest has the rank of a minister. The King Pasenadi's father, Mahakosala, really admired this Brahmin priest and really honored him and promoted him to become a Purohita, a senior minister of the court. So anything that has to do with the country, the running of the country and so on, he will consult this Brahmin, a spiritual advisor. And he was very knowledgeable in astrology, in culture, in history, in Vedas. He was a Sanskrit scholar also. So he was able to help the king, and because of that, Kosala prospered. After Mahakosala passed away, the teenage Pasenadi became king. Agidata was asked to continue to serve as the chief spiritual advisor to the kingdom, but after some time he declined. He said, my time is up, my years are advanced, I would like to retire for my personal spiritual cultivation. And he left Kosala. Yeah? He left and went to the south and founded an ashram. Next to an ashram, there is a river. And besides the river, a hillock. At the end of the hillock, there is a shrine. And that shrine, people used to go there, offer. There was a spirit which was very, very fierce, a fierce spirit. You know, in what you call the world, human beings are not the only realms of beings that share the bounties of earth. There are, of course, animals which are visible to us, animals which are not visible to us. There are spirits which are not visible to us. There are earthbound devas and so on. So there was this particular very strong, fierce spirit. Okay, in Singapore, got or not spirit? No, you don't have fierce, strong spirit in Singapore because government is very powerful. Government banned, so all the spirit have to go to Malaysia or Batam. So there's that, and he established his ashram there, and he started to attract a lot of students, disciples. So when people come, they must be full of suffering already. Yeah, those days in India, not easy, right? So when you encounter suffering, you just don't know where to go to. When you hear there is a famous teacher, you travel there. And when they seek the counsel of Agidata, he said, you go to that forest. stay there, 10 days, do this, recite this, go. Another person comes, he says, you go to the shrine there, stay there, 10 days, recite this verse, say. So he would advise people to go to forests, to mountains, to shrines. This Aggidatta, he has some ability to see spirits. Some people also have this kind of what you call ability. That's why you see Jack Daniels and so on. Modern spirits. This Aggidatta was able to see spirits, and he was able to see what kind of disturbances people have in them. 一些是神通，一些是鬼通, these kind of things. So he was advising people to go here, to go there, to recite things, to stay, to meditate. One day, the Buddha, having woken up in the morning, sat in Maha Karuna Samapatti. He usually does that. Maha Karuna means great, great compassion. He was in the bliss of great compassion. And he surveyed the world. Who in the world that is accessible to me is ripe for awakening? And in his radar-like vision, he saw Aggidatta, the former priest of Kosala. He saw this person has the requisite parami to be awakened. Now, to come into the Buddha's radar, you need to have very good parami, right? Because the Buddha had countless beings in the whole universe, but he chose those who have the parami for awakening, and he chose those who had a past encounter with him. It could be a long, long past, what you call debt, debt of gratitude. For example, some of the people he visited were those in the very past lives, gave him a meal, gave him food, gave him a ride, provided him with shelter, or, pour water for him to wash and so on. They were people who did service to him, so there is a karmic link with them. And there are also many, many people who had no previous links with the Bodhisattva, in his long samsaric quest for enlightenment. That's why it's very important when we practice generosity to others. Be kind to others, even to strangers. People we encounter in the MRT or at the bus stops or along the way to work, along the way home. It's very important we are kind to people so that in our long transmigration in samsara, we have had the goodwill of a multitude of people, thousands of people in just 2-3 years. Tens of thousands of people, especially in a city like Singapore, you get to meet a lot of people. Tens of thousands throughout your life. And many hundreds of thousands of beings throughout a few lives. You see? So you have had this positive encounter with them. If any of them one day were to become enlightened, awakened beings, and they look back and they see, oh, this Brother Joe has helped me last time, gave me McDonald's for lunch. And they said, okay, I will repay my McDonald's gratitude by teaching him Dhamma. You see? So if he has the requisite parami, the Buddha would go to the person. So he saw Aggidatta was ready and they had a karmic link. But there is a problem. There is the problem of Aggidatta being a very senior Brahmin, being a teacher and having this ability to see spirits. It's a hindrance to him. When you're very able and when you are a teacher already, people want to come and teach you Dhamma, especially the Buddha at that time was younger than Aggidatta, much younger. And going there to convince them, I'm an Arahant and I'm the Buddha and I've come here because you are ready and ripe for awakening. They wouldn't buy that. They wouldn't accept that. Although they are ready for awakening, but there is a hindrance of ego. Right? So Buddha also knew that. So that direct method wouldn't work. The Buddha, out of compassion, asked his disciple, Moggallana, you go first. 1 day earlier. I will go, but you go 1 day earlier. Then the Buddha showed him, this is Aggidatta. I said, I know him. So Moggallana was sent by the Buddha out of compassion. Moggallana went to Aggidatta out of compassion too. And when he arrived at the ashram of Aggidatta, Aggidatta saw this person. He said, I cannot see any spirits following him. I cannot see his past. I cannot see his future. This is a special being. Moggallana went to Aggidatta and didn't ask for help, asked for shelter for the evening. Aggidatta said, since you are a very special being, I don't know how powerful you are. Then he told him, I don't have any quarters here. I'm so sorry. Moggallana asked, I'm sure in your ashram or surrounding areas, there must be a place where I can spend the evening. Then Aggidatta said, why not you spend the evening at that shrine at the end of the hillock? Just sit around there. We will see. That's always very bad when people say, we will see. So Moggallana said, that place? Okay. Immediately when he arrived, Moggallana knew already. There's a very fierce spirit who is very dominant. Some animals also are territorial. Some people are also territorial, correct or not? You go there, they work there, they like that. When you touch their stapler or something, they'll stare at you. Next, they'll bite. Yeah? This spirit also territorial. Very territorial. So, no people who know about the history of the place dare to go even near the shrine. And Moggallana was sent there to pass the evening. Immediately when he arrived, he knew already, tonight there must be a lot of drama already. He was prepared. So he sat down on a place, he prepared himself, and then sat down. And that night, really, there was true fierce battle, through and forth, through and fro, like that, between Moggallana and the spirit, which was a Naga. It's a spirit now. And Aggidatta was there seeing smoke, fire. Normal people cannot see. Normal people see nothing. But he could see. His ability was to see. And he said, this handsome bhikkhu tomorrow will be reduced to ashes already. He said, this Naga is too fierce. And some of his disciples also knew about it. But they were surprised. The next morning, Moggallana came unscathed. And the spirit was domesticated. It's like train a wild elephant overnight. So he was shocked. Aggidatta was shocked. He said, this power, this kind of power, is beyond what I have experienced in my long life. I've never met a being that is more powerful than this. You see? So he was thinking like that. He said, who is this Moggallana? Who is he? At that moment, the Buddha himself arrived. Dramatic entrance. But he didn't fly Air India. He walked. Yeah? He arrived, and Moggallana saw the Buddha, the teacher arrived already, prepared a seat, bow down to the Buddha, welcome the Buddha, put the Buddha on the seat, and bow again in reverence to the Buddha. Aggidatta and his disciples saw. He thought, if the disciple was so powerful, what more the teacher? Then he was full of curiosity already. He wanted to find out what is the real power of this disciple and his more powerful teacher. And the Buddha, he did what? What miracle he did? What did the Buddha do? What kind of miracle? Huh? No, not twin miracle. The Buddha did the highest miracle. What is the highest miracle? the teaching of Dhamma. That is the highest miracle. Okay? That's why I don't do any other kind of miracle. Straight away do the highest one lah. Don't waste time. The Buddha said there are 3 kinds of miracles. One miracle is the miracle of Iddhi. Iddhi including the twin miracles which only the Buddhas can perform. But other people also can perform lesser Iddhis. For example, making the body appear big, making it small, invisible to others, and appear solid or fluid, and so on. There are many kinds of Iddhis. Yeah? The second type of miracle is following the train of thoughts or reading other people's minds. Now you're thinking like this, think of a number. This is the number you think of. Think of a color, think of food. So think of your grandmother's name and so on. So they can read the minds. They can follow the train of thoughts. That's another kind of miracle. But these are nothing more than tricks to impress people sometimes. And people fall for that, including in modern society, maybe in Singapore. People who come and say, your karma is like that. That's why you have to do this. You have to chant this 100 times. You have to sacrifice. You have to burn. You have to go here. And people are impressed by all this. How do they know? How do they know? It's not difficult at all. But these are all merely to sometimes capture people's imagination and entrap them in helplessness. You see, because of your karma, all these things, you need help. I can help you. They are entrapped already. They think they are helpless. Without the assistance of those agents, they also face hopelessness. It's called despair. So spiritually, they surrender. They have no power spiritually already. And these people have power over you spiritually. You see. So people are trapped in this kind of relationship with spiritual gurus, with such tricks. That the Buddha says the greatest miracle is the miracle of instruction, education, of teaching Dhamma. He called it Anusasani Patiharya. In Digha Nikaya number 11, Kevata Sutta. He says there are 3 kinds of Patiharya or miracles. And he only approved of the 3rd type of miracle, which is called Anusasani Patiharya, the miracle of education, the miracle of instruction. This is by giving Dhamma teaching. By giving Dhamma teaching, a person who understood and started to reflect and change, from stinginess becomes generous, from immoral becomes virtuous, from foolish becomes wise, from trapped in samsara he becomes liberated. This is a miracle, and it is the result of instruction. You see, so when the Buddha came, he did not give off any other kind of miracle. He did not show Agitata and his disciples, see my body, I can become 3. See, now 9. See, now big. See, now small. You see, all these are trickery. Yeah, not for people who are spiritually ready. So Agitata was spiritually ready. So straight away the Buddha gave the teachings. And this is what he said. Bahung ve saranang yanti pabbatani vanani cha arama rukachetyani manusa bhayata jita. You want to read this? You want to pronounce it? Ai obo? Oh, Jin Gao, Jin Ho. The first word is challenging. It's called bahung. Not M sound, hum. Bahung. Hung. Hung. Okay, hung. Bahung. Bahung ve saranang yanti. Pabbatani vanani cha. Arama rukha chetyani Manusa bhayata jitta. Beautiful. You did it beautifully. Now, what it means, at the bottom, these are all the individual vocabulary, the words. Bahung means many. Yeah? Banyak sekali, bahung. Saranang means refuge. Yeah? A place where you can seek shelter, seek protection, seek safety. That is called saranang. That is why we say, Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I seek refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Sarana means refuge. Yeah. So, in the English translation, let's look directly at the reverse page. Yeah. Manusa means human beings. In Malay, manusya. Yeah. Bahaya in Malay means danger, but in Pali the original meaning means fear. Yeah, bahaya ajita means overcome, stricken by fear, by bahaya. They are stricken by fear already. Tiok kia liao, in fear liao, sangat ketakutan. Yeah, sangat takut. Yeah, so people who are very much in fear, they want to seek shelter from fear. Have you ever been in fear? Huh? What kind of fear? Huh? Huh? All kinds of fear, isn't it? Rational and irrational. Mostly irrational. Yeah? All kinds of fear, especially when sickness comes. You are going to lose your loved ones. Going to lose your child, going to lose your parent, or going to lose your own life. Fear or no fear for normal people? Lots of fear, right? Going for a major operation, which are totally unexpected. So suddenly go for checkup and they say, oh, you have to operate immediately. Have fear or not? Yeah. You got a news. Relative lost somewhere. No news for a few days already. Fear or not? Fear. Suddenly, all the things we have built up, all our property, burnt. We don't know how to go on living the next day. Fear or not? So a lot of times we have real fear, not fear of missing the bus. Definitely not fear of missing Dhamma talk. Not those kinds of fear, but real fear. And when people have real fear, what do people normally do? Yeah? They want to seek a shelter from the fear. What kia liao? When you have so much fear, you want to have relief from that fear. This is where they go here and there to seek a refuge. When they went to Agidata, the Brahmin, he advised them, you go to the mountains, you go to the shrine, you go to the forest. But the Buddha is here saying that, confirming that, he said, when men, they are stricken with fear, to the mountains, to the woods, to the groves, to the trees, to the shrines, they go. Yeah? Tiobo? Yeah. Today, to the mall, to the cinema, to Marina, they go. Yeah? All kinds of ways people want to relieve themselves from fear and anxiety. Yeah. Then the Buddha gave the teaching. Netang ko saranang khemang, netang saranamuttamang, netang saranamagama sabbha dukkha pamucchati. This is the teaching given by the Buddha. Yeah. Reading first, Pali. Netang. Not tam. Netang. Netang ko saranang khemang. Very good. Be careful. Khemang. The H sound. Khemang. Very good. Netang sarana muttamang. Okay, special. Just remember this as a rule of thumb. You have saranang and uttamang. Because the following word starts with the vowel U, the sound of M is borrowed, is loaned to the next word. So instead of saranang uttamang, which is not wrong, but usually it is pronounced sarana muttamang. Correct. Sarana muttamang. Okay, just what you call the Pali language is like that. Netang sarana muttamang. Netang sarana magama. Yeah, same rule. A macron, A bar is A macron, long A, is also a vowel. And when you start with a vowel, the sound of the consonant of the previous word is loaned to it, is borrowed. Yeah, so it's netang sarana mahagama. Sabba dukkha pamucchati. Beautifully said. Now, meaning, remember what the Buddha confirmed? When men are in fear, anxiety, we want to seek a solution to it. We want to have relief from our fear and anxiety. So we go here, go there, you know. Same thing. When I was in my teacher's temple, people who come, either asking for greater wealth and so on, but there are also a number of people who come who are really having a lot of fear and worries. People who are stricken with tragedy or sickness, or someone is going to pass away in a family, or, you know, in our case, there are also missing persons. It's true. You know, in the past also, even today also, people go missing, and you don't know their fate. So people do come to look for answers. Can you help? Can you help? You know, Kisa Gotami during Buddha's time, she lost her son, a baby. And she couldn't accept it. You know, she had waited so long. Her life depended on her child. Her status in the family depended on having this child. And when the child died, she thought I would lose everything, including my marriage. So, stricken with fear, she went everywhere asking for relief and solution. That was the story of Kisa Gotami. But the Buddha says, no such refuge is safe. No such refuge is supreme. Not by resorting to such a refuge is one freed from all ill. Ill here means the mental illness, mental fear, mental anxiety, all kinds of discomfort of the mind, that illness. Yeah. Not by going to the mountains, not by going to the woods, to the groves, to the trees, and to the shrines, are we free from mental anxiety and problems. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Yeah. Today, do people still do it? Yeah? Yes, yes. In Malaysia, people still do it. In Thailand, people still do it. In India, people still do it. You know, when they have anxiety, they go and ask Angkong. You know Angkong? Mui Sin. They go and ask the gods, Mui Sin, and they go and ask the mediums. Yeah, you know, wow, what will happen? We want to know what will happen. Shall live or shall die? You know, and how much time we have? You know? People still resort to all kinds of things. But in Aghidatta's case, when he saw this person coming, okay, you go to the mountain and do this. When people are there, they cut away the source of the trigger of the problems. Some have problems with family, some have problems with others, some have problems with the villagers. When they are away for some time, there is no trigger for their problems, and suddenly they feel, wow, it's working. You know, I can stay here and my mind reciting this. Wow, it's blank. There's no fear, there's no anxiety. I'm cured, I'm free from ill. but that is only temporary. Okay? If you are so stressed in Singapore, what do? Buy a flight, go to KL. You know? Wow, KL is different now. I'm free from my office, free from home, free from MRT, ko bo cheng hu. And a lot of things. Very happy, you know. Until you breathe in KL air, and then you see it's more or less the same, you know. So we go again, go to Penang, from there go to Phuket, from there go to China, go to Tibet, and until we go to Shangri-La, until we go to heaven and say, wow, this is so nice, this is so nice. But still, the seeds of our problems, the causes and the conditions for our problems have not diminished. They merely, if at all, remain dormant. One day conditions change, it springs. Back to anxiety, back to fear. That's why the Buddha says, if you go to the mountains and shrines, they are not true refuges. They are not going to cure all ills. So when he taught like that, Aghidatta and the disciples suddenly, really? Then what is the true refuge? What can cure all ills? Then the Buddha continued to teach. Yo cha buddhang cha dhammang cha sanghang cha saranang gato chatari arya satchani samma panyaya passati. Okay, together. Yo cha buddhang cha dhammang cha sanghang cha saranang gato chatari arya satchani samma panyaya passati. Very good. Passati. P-A-S first. Pas and then sati. Passati. Okay. What does it mean? Yeah? Buddhang. You see the meaning below. Buddhang means, of course, the Buddha. Dhammang means the Dhamma. Sanghang means the community of enlightened disciples of the Buddha. Cha, C-A, means and. Okay? The Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. This is Pali style. Cha comes with every noun. Okay? It's unlike modern English where you have A, B, C, and D. In Pali we say A and B and C and D, N. Yeah? N is behind the noun. So don't worry about that. So, Saranangato, going to the refuge, in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Chatarya Arya Sachani. Chatar means four. The Four Noble Truths. Samma Panyaya. With proper understanding. With proper wisdom we can understand. Passati means to see. Okay? Samma Panyaya Passati. Passati here refers to seeing the truth. Okay? We can see the truth in the Four Noble Truths. When we learn Four Noble Truths, what are the Four Noble Truths? Suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation, and the path to the cessation of suffering. But it's different when we see it spiritually. We can see that this is true. Okay? It's not we think it's true, but we see that it's true. So this is called Samapanyaya Passati, seeing the truth with wisdom and proper understanding. Okay? Yeah. Then the Buddha further explained. I will continue with these two verses first and then come back to the English. Dukkhang. Dukkhang here means unsatisfactoriness and suffering. Suffering here refers to the general suffering of being. When we are living, we have to experience a lot of discomfort, a lot of separation from what we love, a lot of unfulfilled desires, a lot of inconveniences, and finally, with aging, it comes sickness and death, and the end of everything that we have accumulated, the separation from everything that are dear and love, that we love. All the ownership we have to relinquish. So all these are suffering under the capital S. Okay, so it's not that we talk about suffering. But there is this condition generally that affects all beings, whether we are poor or rich, whether we are young or old. This dukkha is pervasive and universal. Yeah, have we never experienced dukkha before? Anyone? All of us had, right? It could be from the very mundane physical one, such as hunger, illness, injury, pain, or to deeper ones, such as what you call serious illness, serious pain internally, or to terminal diseases. And also we face with a lot of mental unhappiness, yeah, from someone ignoring us, to someone boring us, to someone what you call agitating us, to deep pain, the deep pain that it feels physical. It's a mental pain, right? It's like losing someone already, but you feel the pain physically, like your chest and your heart and your breathing and your head. It feels like shrinking, and it feels sometimes like a big punch into your abdomen, to your gut. You have that kind of physical manifestation of a mental dukkha. So everyone has experienced this, depending on our karmic accumulation, whether we have done a lot of unwholesome deeds in the past that results in this kind of experience. And when we are experiencing such, whether we have accumulated good karmic relation in the past, that the cure appears together with the sickness. For example, when we have to go through this kind of pain, and then suddenly Brother Tan appear. You see? So although we still go through the pain, but there is also the cure, right? There's also the help. Yeah, you understand? Yeah. So we may go through a lot of injuries, but at the moment we are injured, help arrived. So this is the result of both having done unwholesome deeds in the past and also having done enough wholesome deeds. Yeah. Yesterday we were talking about excess weight. When you travel back to Singapore, usually everyone have a little bit of excess weight. I don't refer to your stomach. The luggage. Yeah, how many people, when you go out and then you start buying things and you come back, especially you take Air Asia, and then you discover that, there's a little bit of excess weight. Yeah, how many people experience that? We experience all the time with Air Asia. Now, most of the time when I go and talk to the Air Asia counter, I say, you have 22 kilograms or you have 16 kilograms. We only allow 15 kilograms. And I just smile to them, and said, no, do you think it's a problem if it is just a little bit extra? Then they look at me and they said, okay lah, no problem lah. There's overweight problem, excess. But usually I carry Dhamma books. So of course we cannot tell them this. It makes more sense to them. So when we have excess weight and then it becomes an issue, the excess goodness that we have accumulated in the past evens out. Right? Just a little bit excess we need every time. You score 49 marks. And then, due to good karma, those days, memorize Dhammapada verses, verse 183 and 188. Then suddenly, the examiner see 49 marks. Never mind, give 51. Pass, no need to repeat. See? So better go back and memorize 183, verse 183, You just need that a little bit extra. If we do continue with our lives every day, thinking about ourselves and not others, where are you going to get the extra? Only thinking about my comfort, my convenience, my time, my appointment, my problems, my ability, my strength, my weakness, my this, my that. Where is the extra coming from? Where is the excess good karma coming from? Please think well of other people. How can I help this person? Should I call this person and give some motivation? Should I be kind to the person? Should I smile to the person? When I give food to my neighbors, can I give a little bit extra to them for their children and whatever too? When you're doing cleaning, sweeping, and just in front of your neighbor's house, you see some rubbish, and never mind, sweep also. When we think of others, do a little bit extra. That's where you are going to get the excess good karma accumulated, right? And then a little bit here and there, our life started to change for the better. You see? So please don't think of ourselves only, because that's not going to help. When we think of ourselves being obsessed with oneself, we actually do not help ourselves. When we forget ourselves, then it is most helpful to ourselves. Yeah? This is called selflessness. The opposite of that is called selfishness. And those who have been selfish, you know what is the resultant taste. It's not sweet. Yeah? The aftertaste of selfishness, at the end of the day, it is not sweet. Yeah? Okay, so dukkhaṃ, this is suffering, yeah, the unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha samupadaṃ, the origin or the arising of dukkha. Dukkhasya ca attikammaṃ, the transcending and the surpassing of dukkha. Go beyond dukkha, the cessation of dukkha. This is called attikammaṃ. And what is that way? Aryaṃ ca atthangika māgaṃ. Atthangika means eightfold. Māgaṃ means path. And Aryaṃ means noble. The noble eightfold path. Dukku upasama gaminaṃ. Dukku, dukkha, upasama. So we combine into one word, become dukku upasama gaminaṃ. It is bringing about peace, going towards peace. Okay, so verse number 109 is an elaboration by the Buddha to Aggidatta and his disciples. He said, first, going to refuge in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and in the Sangha. Yeah? By understanding the Four Noble Truths with proper wisdom. And what is the Four Noble Truths? The Buddha elaborated. It is suffering, the arising of suffering, the overcoming of suffering, the Noble Eightfold Path, which leads to the appeasement of suffering. Yeah, so this is how the Buddha explained. You look at the English translation at the reverse page, 190 and 191. Yeah. He who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha, who sees with right knowledge the Four Noble Truths, dukkha, the cause of dukkha, the transcendence of dukkha, and the Noble Eightfold Path which leads to the cessation of dukkha. This indeed is refuge secure. This is refuge supreme. By seeking such refuge, one is freed from all dukkha. Etaṃ ko saranaṃ khemaṃ, etaṃ sarana muttamam, etaṃ sarana māgama, sabba dukkha pamucchati. This is among one of my favorite verse, because it gives me a lot of zeal when I recite this verse. Shall we? Etaṃ ko saranaṃ khemaṃ, etaṃ sarana muttamam, etaṃ sarana māgama, sabba dukkha pamucchati. All suffering cease, all suffering stop, all suffering is appeased, overcome, transcended, no more. So this is the meaning, sabba dukkha pamucchati. This is the offering of the Buddha to Aggidatta and his disciples. Aggidatta couldn't understand that by going to shrines and mountains, this is not going to help people overcome their suffering. But Aggidatta was not a foolish person. He had the wisdom, ripe for awakening. but still do not have right view. So his thought, Agitada's thought was, this person who comes full of suffering, I can ask him to go for a week, then come back, I ask him to go another 2 weeks, then come back, I ask him to go another 3 weeks or 4 weeks, then altogether about 7, 6 weeks, then he will stop coming to me already. Yeah? But Agitada knows that that does not solve his problem, but merely to distract him from his problems, to buy time or to buy peace so that he can figure it out or just to endure with it. Agitada didn't know what is the way to completely overcome suffering of dukkha and samsara. For that reason, the Buddha had come to him with this teaching of the Four Noble Truths. And just by mentioning these Four Noble Truths, Agitada, he was intelligent enough, he was wise enough to capture it. And by listening to these few verses, he became awakened. He became awakened. So I wonder how good it works here. Maybe those who wear yellow. So from here, we can learn very important things. We can learn about how we handle our fear, how we handle our mental problems. A lot of people handle unskillfully with a lot of unwholesome beliefs. Not with right views, but with wrong views. You know, when we are stricken with this fear already, we sometimes even give up what we have learned through Dhamma talks and resort to believing in mediums and Bomo and so on. Yeah, I've seen sometimes people, when they fear death, they give up 20, 25 years of listening to the Dhamma and embrace another religion, embrace another belief, thinking that, they say by believing I will be saved. I will be saved. Saved from what? Saved from whatever is scary. Who scared you in the first place? The same people who are saving me. So this is the fear that people have. It's called existential fear. People fear what will happen to them. I don't know. This ignorance. The root is ignorance. And the want of life, the clinging to life, is craving, the lobha, the upadana, the attachment. And the aversion towards suffering is dosa. So these are the three roots of our problems, of our suffering. Lobha, dosa, and moha, that gives rise to upadana. And the root of these three is avijja, not knowing, not understanding, ignorance, which is very deep inside. So as practitioners of Dhamma, the first step is we must establish saddha towards Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. What is saddha? Saddha means not faith as in the English word faith. I caya samalu, gua caya samalu. Yeah, I believe in you. It's not that kind of trust. No. Faith here means after well thought consideration, after understanding things properly from a learned disciple of the Buddha, I place confidence in the Buddha. He is extraordinary teacher and enlightened being. And how do I see that? Because from his enlightening teachings, the Dhamma, I also place faith in the Dhamma. And how can I learn the Dhamma? From enlightened and wise teachers who are disciples of the Buddha from past to the present generation. So when we encounter such wise teachers who teach true Dhamma, then our confidence may grow. And this is where we first place our belief, or what you call our saddha, in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and in the Sangha. Okay. Granted, there are times where we cannot understand everything yet when we are talking about anicca, dukkha, anatta, when we are talking about the paticca samuppada, the 12 links of origination, when we are talking about karma and the effects of karma, including being driven to the next life. Granted, we cannot see everything today. We may not be able to perceive them or truly understand them. But whatever we can understand already gives us the strong start, the strong foundation for the confidence already. And this is the basis of our spiritual life and progress. How many people have been to Sri Lanka? And people have seen stupas in Sri Lanka. Have you seen stupas? Can you recollect the shape of the stupas? I don't have a picture here with me. But if you can imagine, the stupa in Sri Lanka are round and white color. There is a walkway. We call it the base of the stupa. And then there are 3 rings. 1, 2, 3. And then the whole round hemispherical big what we call the dome, and on top of that dome there is a square. And on top of that square there are 8 rings, and then on top of the 8 rings is a chatra or fire. Okay, now the base of that stupa is symbolizing faith or saddha, and the 3 rings symbolize Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And the whole dome, the big hemispherical dome, represents the body of the Dhamma. The body of the Dhamma. The Buddha taught many years, and there's a big corpus of Dhamma that he taught. And chief of which is the 4 Noble Truths, the square on top. And on top of the square, this is the 8 rings, the Eightfold Path. And then beyond that, enlightenment. So the whole stupa in Sri Lanka is symbolic of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, but the base of which is saddha, confidence. So due to confidence, we take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and in the Sangha. Okay? Of course, people take refuge without understanding all this. That does not make them spiritual practitioners or spiritual Buddhists, but that makes them technical Buddhists. How do we become a Buddhist technically? When you go to the temple and said, okay, now repeat after me, Buddhang saranang gacchami, then you repeat Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang, Sanghang saranang, Dutiyampi tatiyampi, and then finished. And then Ti sarana gamana sampunang, this completes the taking of the 3 refuges. So technically, now you are Buddhist without you knowing. Technically. But we shouldn't be technically Buddhist. We should be spiritually practitioners of Dhamma. And you cannot be born a Buddhist. Do you know that? You can't be born a Buddhist. But hey, my IC says so, my birth cert also got. You are born to Buddhist families or Buddhist parents. But you take up Buddhism by yourself. So in a real sense, one cannot be born a Buddhist. One has to choose Buddhism. And make that choice based on understanding and wisdom. Then that choice is right for you. If without wisdom, we will resort to all kinds of refuge when we are in fear, when we have anxiety, when we have problems. But with wisdom and understanding, it is firm. So coming back to taking the refuge, there are many types of taking refuge, going into a little bit deep. There is the taking of refuge without understanding. When we have Vesak coming, and in many Buddhist centers, we have this refuge taking ceremony. And at the end of certain ceremonies, you may be given a name and a certificate, a card, what you call certifying that you are now officially a Buddhist. You have a card and to show for it, with a number, also membership number in Samsara. It's our proof of samsara existence, but at least I've taken refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. There are people without understanding doing that, thinking that, oh, this is protection, this is insurance. When I go to the pearly gates, I show them entrance, card, membership card, and then they allow me to enter into a good place, Or when I'm reborn, I show them I got card, since 1985. So they say, okay lah, long time Buddhists already allow you to go to good destination. This is a gross misunderstanding, not based on wisdom or wise reflections. This is based on misunderstanding. So people have taken refuge not understanding a thing. Then there are people who have taken refuge, like many of you, with proper understanding, with proper questioning, with proper answers obtained, with proper reflection and consideration, and take up this refuge. Choose to practice by these teachings. Which of the two are superior? The first one or the second one? The second one. Then there are those who take up the refuge without practicing. And those who have taken up the refuge started to live their life, organize their life according to the Dhamma. Which of the two are superior? The first or the second one? The second one. Then there are those with refuge, taken refuge, but no achievement or attainment. The second one has achievement. Achievement means worldly achievement, like knowledge of Dhamma or jhana and so on. Attainment means the attainment of the fruits, of the first stage of sainthood to the last stage of sainthood. Which of the two is superior? The first one without achievement and attainment, or the second one? The second one. So there are what you call rooted refuge and non-rooted refuge. Rooted means deep down you have roots to the Dhamma, to knowledge, to practice, and to achievement and attainment. So there are these roots of Dhamma, very strong one. These are called Dhamma Mulaka Sarna. Dhamma Mulaka means rooted in the Dhamma. Again, the three roots, strong roots, are the knowledge of Dhamma, the practice of Dhamma, and the achievement and the attainment in the Dhamma. This provides us strong roots in the Dhamma. And these are called unshakable sarana. The refuge that is unshakable. Imagine you know Dhamma already, but you don't practice it, still it's shakeable, right? People go to Dhamma courses for many years. At the end, they still don't live by the Dhamma, and they don't die with that conviction also. They just suddenly get lost before they die. That's no rooted. But with knowledge and practice, then it is more rooted, correct? And with knowledge and practice and achievement and attainment, then you are very strongly and firmly rooted. That is called unshakable refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Okay? The other one is shakeable or no roots one. No roots, therefore shakeable. There is not enough knowledge on the Dhamma. There is not enough practice in the Dhamma. Or people practice without knowing the Dhamma. Simply people say what is good, you just do it. People say don't do it, you just do it. People say do it, you just don't do it. So don't know what we are doing. When people ask you, hey, why you practice so strange one? People say one. My friends say one. How about what the Buddha say? We only listen to what people say, but we don't know what the Buddha say. So that is not rooted in terms of knowledge. Practice also topsy-turvy. And where can we find achievement and attainment? Definitely not. So that is amulaka sada. Amulaka, no roots one. Shakeable one. Yeah? So from life to life, there is no guarantee that we will have sada in the three jewels, in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. This life, you may have stronger, what you call faith. But because it is still not rooted, next life, it might not be there. You see? Dangerous or not? Dangerous. Who wants to continue life after life, having sarana in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha? Who wants to continue? I definitely want to continue because this is the best refuge. But what guarantees that continuity is the rootedness in the Dhamma. And that means my knowledge of the Dhamma must be right views. Cannot have wrong views. And my practice must be sincere, must be thorough, and must be in accordance to the Dhamma. And my achievement and attainment, if people without supramundane achievement, at least must have mundane achievement like jhanas and so on. That strengthens the conviction. So in the next life, you will come in contact with the Dhamma, you will still choose it. You are given a choice, you still choose it. I met a couple, they are from Argentina. Argentina, the capital, Buenos Aires, and then there is the second city about 800 kilometers away called Rosario. And another 350 kilometers from Rosario, that's a very remote place. They have a huge ranch, They have a huge 2,000-acre ranch. And their nearest neighbor is a few miles down the road. And in the many, many miles radius, they only have about 25 families. And they were mostly Catholics and ranchers. But from young, this lady and the daughter, they didn't know anything apart from their own culture and the religion they were born in. But somehow, they found that, something is not complete. Something is not complete. So when they started to travel, they traveled in South America and North America only. And also to Europe only. But the first time they came to Asia, it was Thailand or somewhere, they encountered something so different. They encountered a Buddhist temple. And somehow they went into the Buddhist temple as tourists, and when they stood in front of a particular image, it wasn't even an impressive image like the one here. It was just a normal, mundane temple image in Thailand. And when they saw and gazed at the Buddha image for the first time, mother and daughter knew this is what is missing. This is what is missing. So immediately when they went back, they planned the next trip to India. And I met this mother and daughter in Bodh Gaya. We happened to arrive and give talk, and they came here. We were the only English group that evening. So they went, Sri Lankan, don't understand. The Thai chanting, don't understand. The Burmese were sitting, don't understand. So only the Malaysian group speaking English, and they came here, listened. And after that, they said, excuse me. He said, how can I learn all these things? Do you have a book? Do you have something? It's marvelous, marvelous. That from such a remote corner of the world, so far from the Buddhist heartland, in the middle of South America, in a ranch where you only have 25 families in probably 200-kilometer radius, you found something missing in your life. And when you reached there, a Buddhist temple and the Buddha image, you knew exactly that was what you are missing. Independently, mother and daughter, independently, without saying anything, they say, when we look at it, we knew that was missing. And when they shared it out, they were overjoyed. How could you simply explain that? Yeah. So something that they have planted in the past. So my dear friends, don't only plant food, chi chong fan, tau sa pia, Louis Vuitton, and Jack Daniels, and all kinds of things. Don't simply plant anything in your fertile ground. That is your citta, that is your mind. Because it will manifest itself in desires and cravings in future, even future lives. Plant these wholesome seeds. Buddha. When people look at the Buddha, people bow to the Buddha. When we come to the temple, when we take leave, we bow to the Buddha. But many people don't have a strong connection with the Buddha. It's just like Cheng Beng just passed. And then the old relatives bring us to the graveyards. Do you still have graveyards in Singapore? Yeah. Or tablets in the temples. And say, this is Acho. Huh? Give a joystick to you. Pray to Acho. So you hold the person like that. Did you look at Acho? I've come to pay respect to you. I hope you are well and happy wherever you are. Please accept our reverence to you. Wish you well, like that. Anyone did that? Yeah. How about your children and grandchildren? Do they do that? Why? Why didn't they do that? Because they don't know their Acho. They just simply say one tablet there, one stone there, one graveyard there. They don't know their Acho. Similarly, you don't know Hucho. So when you ask our children, pai. When you come to Buddhist center, pai, no respect, pai. You tao chi lo ki. No. Tell them about your Acho. The elders in the family, you have to say, oh, this is my grandfather and your great-great-grandfather. When I was young, my grandfather, he was in China and he did this, and heroically he saved the family. When he came here, he struggled. You tell them episodes from the life of Acho, so that the younger one, listening or not listening, they get a glimpse of who their Acho was. How they have lived, how they have struggled, how they have provided. When you know more and more, you feel differently. Correct or not? Similarly, we have to get to know the Buddha again. What the Buddha did when he was in Vaishali. What he did when he encountered angry people in Rasgir. What did he do when he first arrived in Savatthi, or when he went back to his hometown in Kapilavastu? What did he say to his uncle, or to his son, or to his cousin, or to the teacher of another religious sect? What did he do? What are the great deeds? How did he live his daily life? What did he eat? How did he travel? How did he spend his evening, night, morning? When we start to get to know the Buddha, the respect, the understanding develops, and the reverence and the faith comes too. I have great faith in my teachers because I lived with them. I didn't learn about my teachers from their books or from the cassettes. I was there seeing, witnessing how they woke up in the morning, what they did, how they conducted themselves with others, how they conducted themselves privately, how they go about practicing and teaching and living the Dhamma. And because of that, I had strong conviction in my teachers due to knowing them. So similarly, we also have to get to know the Buddha. Then the similar feeling of conviction will arise in the Buddha. And when we say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, wow, the feeling that is stirred, the faith and the joy that is stirred up from there is totally different realm. And similarly, when we get to know the Dhamma, we say Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Wow, again, the strong evocation of faith and joy arises again. And when we know enough good, well-practiced monks, virtuous and wise, then when we say Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, again we feel very different. So this is the refuge, the Buddha says, that is ultimate, that is secure, that is safe. And this is the refuge. And not just taking refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, I take refuge in you, and now take away my suffering. I believe in you, Vacaya Samalu. No, not like that. The Buddha says, then we have to understand the Four Noble Truths with proper wisdom, with proper understanding, seeing the Four Noble Truths. Dukkha, the arising, the cessation, and the Eightfold Path that leads to the complete appeasement of dukkha. Then this is refuge secure, this is refuge supreme. By going to the refuge in such a manner, one can be freed from all suffering. Beautiful verses. So after listening to this, Aggidatta understood, and he abandoned all the practices or ideas that he had. He was convinced this is it, and he followed the Buddha, became a disciple, and later became an arahant. So the Buddha had come out of compassion to help Aggidatta understand the truth, because he had the requisite parami, and his disciples too followed suit and became arahants too. So this is something that is very important for us to understand. So my dear friends, our refuge must be based on understanding, and understanding can come from learning and practicing. Today you are learning, yeah. After learning, have some what you call some strong eagerness, enthusiasm, and spirit to learn. Yeah, many of us have heard Dhamma for a long time, and all these themes have been repeated. For example, we hear about the Four Noble Truths for the 400th time already. So we have heard it many times. But enlightened already? No. That's why I have to listen to it another time. You keep listening until you're enlightened. When you're enlightened, you don't have to listen anymore. You give the talk. Yeah. So this is the spirit. Sometimes is lacking. When we are spirited, when we are enthusiastic, we absorb much more, and we retain much longer, and it goes much deeper, and the insight arises much sooner. Yeah. So the Dhamma is that way, repetition. So some people, they don't like repetition, so they like to listen to new Dhamma. Yeah. Anyone interested in new Dhamma? Should be told that there is no new Dhamma. This dukkha has been around for a long time. All Buddhas in the past came, they also taught us about suffering and the cessation of suffering, because it's a perennial problem with ignorance as the root. It is not solved individually yet, so it's the same. Yeah, the Buddhas in future that are coming are also teaching the Four Noble Truths. Because why? Beings even then in future are still affected by ignorance, still fettered by craving, and still have desire and attachment. It's still the same old suffering, same old stories. So there are no new Dhamma. So some people say, I want to wait until the coming of Buddha Maitreya, then I learn under him. Then I ask them, do you think there is going to be a difference between the teachings of Maitreya and Gautama? Actually, no. Then why wait? Why wait for incalculable kalpas to listen to the same talk? Where we can benefit from understanding it now and start to act on it. Okay? So some people, they are looking for excitement. So when there are no new teachings, they look for new teachers. Look for new centers. Look for new places, new styles of practice, and so on. But we have to understand. Searching without understanding, searching without ending, is searching without profit. We have to search the right way searching within. Look within. Look at, this is suffering. When we see suffering, we have to recognize it as suffering. Okay? Many people don't recognize it as suffering, especially when they go to Malaysia during durian season. When they go there, they see durian. You have to recognize this as suffering. Yeah? Do you recognize it as suffering? No. They tell me, no. That's the reason we come. That's the reason we come. Now, actually, why do we see it as suffering? Because what compelled me to come all the way? Driven by what? Driven by desire. The desire compelled me to take many hours, right? Queue many hours at the CIQ, spend money on traveling accommodation, find a nice stall, and suddenly discover the durian is overpriced, get unhappy, look for the next stall, this one more reasonable, open up, ask them nice or not, they say nice, open, bo jia, get disappointed, go to another stall, and finally found one that is reasonably priced and reasonably good, and say, this is good, this is great. Actually, we have to recognize that desire, that attachment to desire is the basis of suffering to arise. But many times when we suffer, we don't see it as suffering. When we love something, whether a person or arts or something, when we love a lot, we see that as giving pleasure, not giving suffering. When we indulge ourselves in our hobbies, it could be exercise, or it could be arts, it could be music, it could be dance. We don't see that as a source of suffering, but we see it as a source of pleasure. So 很多时候我们就是在这边颠倒. We cannot distinguish, our delusion. We cannot distinguish between what gives rise to suffering and what gives rise to bliss. So the Buddha's teaching is to see what causes suffering as suffering, and also to see the overcoming of that suffering by overcoming the causes of dukkha, which is the craving and the attachment. See, by overcoming the craving and the attachment, we do not perpetuate the causes and conditions for suffering, and that is the main reason we experience the bliss of no suffering. Okay? So this is what the Buddha taught. The Buddha said, I only teach one thing, and one thing only, and that is suffering and the end of suffering. He considered that as one thing. He said, I only teach one thing and one thing only, and that is suffering and the end of suffering. And that is also encapsulated in these Dhammapada verses. Okay? So the way is to recognize what is the arising and how to overcome the suffering. Right? So I hope that is helpful to everyone. Yeah, when we take refuge, to have conviction in our refuge. And when we bow, we are not bowing out of obligation. When we bow, it is an expression of gratitude and reverence. So we bow it with a lot of mindfulness, with a lot of respect, with a lot of devotion. Yeah, this is something that we acquire over time. Some people, when they are born, they naturally have a lot of devotion, but not me. When I started, I didn't have a lot of devotion. But over time, I acquired that deep devotion. Because of association with wise teachers and good friends, I could see that, wow, this is how Dhamma works. It works beautifully, it works wonderfully, it works miraculously, and it's deeper and deeper conviction. And I have a questioning mind. When I question, and my teachers were able to answer a lot of things, and there was not a single thing that I need to doubt or I question about the Buddha's teachings. So that also gave me a lot of confidence. And when I see my teachers and companions practicing earnestly and getting the results from the practice, that gives me a further boost in confidence. So over time, my devotion also deepen. Yeah, the confidence is there first for me, and then the devotion came later. And devotion is different from confidence. I think modern people, you have confidence, but not much of devotion. Yeah, devotion means something that compels you to just act. For example, you come to a Buddha image, it's just the devotion towards it is something that melts you, and you just naturally go down and bow low. Everyone loves the parents, right? You love your parents? Yeah. I think a lot of people are grateful to their parents. A lot of people love the parents, but they may not be devoted to the parents. Devoted to the parents is different. Is it? So, huh? Ma, so quickly pour what you call hot water, give anything. When the mother take the hot water, the hand shaking. Ma, 手这么抖抖的. Then 没有手酸 massage, taking care of them. That's devotion. That's not just love and gratitude. That's also devotion. With love and with gratitude, but without devotion, you see, 妈咳嗽啊，去看医生啊。明天自己去 use Grab car 比较便宜。That's what I was told. With and without devotion is different, correct? Yeah. So we have conviction, but do we have devotion? So my conviction came first, my devotion slowly, adding slowly, what you call growing. Yeah. So this is something that all of us can aim to grow in. Yeah, understanding of the Dhamma, the saddha, the conviction in the Dhamma, as well as slowly the devotion towards it. And when we are devoted to it, the love towards Dhamma is a safe kind of love. It won't bring about heartbreak. It won't bring about disappointment and dejection. It is a very wholesome kind of love. And at the end, if we continue on in our transmigration, we will come in contact with Dhamma, we will choose that, and we will continue with our wholesome pursuit towards Nibbana. Okay, so with that, I'd like to stop here for more questioning time, because this morning we didn't have enough time for questioning, so I purposely stopped here so that we have more time for discussions. Thank you very much, everyone. Sukhi Hontu.
So, brothers and sisters, we will now open the floor for question and answers. Any takers? Brother.
Thank you, brother. Brother Tan, just now you mentioned about the don't just think of ourselves. You also talk about the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. I cannot connect the two. Maybe you can help us.
Don't think about ourselves, and also the Four Noble Truths. I was earlier saying that we shouldn't be too self-centered and self-preoccupied. When we are self-centered and preoccupied, that obsession prevents us from acknowledging the truth. When, for example, we think, I'm suffering, I'm in pain, I'm in need, I'm in want, and so on. We cannot see pain and suffering objectively, because we see from the I context, from our self-perception, our ditthi about atta, about ourselves. And therefore, it prevents us from really understanding suffering. When we suffer, we don't want to claim it as our suffering. It's Brother Tan, you don't understand my suffering because you are not in my condition. So you will not understand how I feel, how I have suffered for so long. So every now and then we claim suffering. So when we put the self in the suffering, we will never understand what suffering really is. Okay? So to a certain extent, some people even compare their suffering. When, for example, you have a leg pain already, and then thank you for relieving my suffering. Thank you. Now, when someone has a pain, when someone has pain on the leg, walking a distance, and then you say, "Oh, what happened to you?" "Oh, my leg is cramped after walking such a distance." Then they say, "Oh, your pain is nothing. Last time, my pain even worse." Even suffering also want to win. Compare suffering is already not profitable. Want to win over others because of suffering is rugi betul. Bo kaliao. You see, not only claim suffering as ours, but take pride in suffering more than others. What is that actually? It's atta diti. It's atta diti, selfhood, projecting the self, the ego. So when we have ego in play, we will not understand the Four Noble Truths. Separate it, take it out, reduce that. Okay? Yeah. So you have seen that before, right? People say, "Oh, why you look so tired?" "Oh, last night I didn't sleep. So I was having this work and so on." And then say, "Oh, yours is nothing. Once I went 3 days without sleeping." Have you had people compare like that? No. This is when I is so important. Now, if you don't have that I importance at that moment, when you say, "Hey, what happened to you?" "Oh, last night I didn't sleep. I was rushing for work." "Hey, are you okay? Do you want to go back and have a rest? Don't worry about this. Can I do anything for you? Can I help?" You didn't even mention the time, 3 days you didn't sleep, taking care of your mother or grandmother. You didn't mention about the suffering you have. Because at that moment there was no I. But when you see someone suffer, you say, that's nothing. My suffering even greater. That's because of the I. So how can we understand suffering? Yeah? You understand? No. So diminish the I, let go of the I. Then the Dhamma can arise. When you hear someone didn't sleep for a night, the compassion comes instead of the ego comes. You see? Okay?
Brother Tan, thank you for the teaching. You mentioned about learn the Dhamma. Maybe can you advise how to start, where to start, and how we progress from there?
Learn Dhamma. Learn Dhamma can be from listening to Dhamma. Dhamma Sutang. Yeah. When we are introduced to good teachers, good teachers doesn't mean eloquent, tell good jokes only, and what you call keep us entertained. But the substance is very important. The content is also very important. And the practice and the attainment of the teachers are also very important. So from reasonable, good report, we approach the teacher respectfully and listen without judging, listen first. And then we can gain a basic understanding of the Dhamma. Then ask questions. Panyang pucati. Dhammang sutwa pannang pucati. After listening to Dhamma, we put questions to the teacher in order to gain a clearer foundation of the understanding of the Dhamma. So this is somewhere we can start. Also today books are available. We can read about the topics, the karma and rebirth from recommended books. And after reading those books, go back to the suttas, what the Buddha say. What other people say is one thing, but what the Buddha say is the more important thing. So we can learn from the suttas. And whatever questions we encounter, we write it down and ask again to teachers who are knowledgeable and wise. And so this is the firmer way of learning Dhamma. Okay? And my dear friends, this is a very important point, that this learning of Dhamma is progressive but open to everyone. There are also certain speakers who may tell you that, this Dhamma is very profound. This Dhamma is very deep. and normal people cannot understand one. That includes you. You know. Now, we have to be mindful that the Buddha never uttered such things. The Buddha was very encouraging. Even people like Chula Pantaka, due to karma of his past, he couldn't remember or comprehend anything the Buddha said. You know? He just followed his elder brother Mahapantaka and became a monk. Mahapantaka, the elder brother, was, on the other hand, very intelligent. He could quickly absorb what the Buddha said and comprehend it. But the younger brother, who just followed the elder brother to become a monk, stayed in robes but couldn't understand a thing. So he was just lost. And even to such a person that is obstructed by the previous karma, the Buddha was able to give very, very concise teachings about purification, purifying the mind. And Chula Pantaka reflected on the purity of his mind and became an arahant. So even in such dire circumstances, the Buddha did not say, this profound teaching is beyond you. Because intellectually, some things may be beyond people, but purification is not beyond us. You know, we can try. We don't have to know a lot of theory, but what is important is to recognize dukkha, and the cause of dukkha we just abandon. And that abandoning of the causes of dukkha is called the process of purification. So if we see our ego, abandon it. If we see the desire, abandon it. If we see the attachment, abandon it. If we see the roots of ignorance, eradicate it. And this process is purification. And this is going to lead to spiritual progress. That is the key. That is the practice. Yeah, many people in KL also, they like to listen when there are lots of talks going on in KL. I suppose Singapore is the same. We are a very important transit point, and all the people from Taiwan and from Thailand and from India, Lanka, they come and give talks. And then after listening to all this, they go to listen to deeper and deeper so-called Dhamma. And once they listen to, wow, this speaker is really, really fantastic. You know, the things that he said, I couldn't understand at all. So they go and tell their friends and tell them, oh, last night I attended a fantastic talk, really, really profound. I said, oh, really? You know, can you share with me some of it? I can't. I cannot understand. It was so profound. I think you have to go to a department called Lost and Found. You have lost it. So better find that surety, that sense in the Dhamma. What the Buddha taught was really encouraging, really down to earth and solid. This is true strength of Dhamma. Okay, go for that. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for the question. This is out of compassion, asked for the benefit of everyone. Yeah, how to learn Dhamma. Yeah. Thank you, Brady. Yeah.
Hello. Oh, sorry, Brother Tan. My question is, telling someone or people that helping others is good, okay? And yet, I feel that we also need to, sometimes I share with other people and say, well, please look after yourself as well so that you can look after others. I mean, sometimes people get this wrong idea that, or to me, it's a wrong idea that, when I help others, I just want to think about helping others, okay? And then they forget that they have to look after themselves in order to help others. And yet, by telling them that, they feel that, hey, you're telling me to be selfish, telling me I want to help others. But I tell them, I said, hey, but you need to look after yourself. You need to look after yourself so that you can help others. You are the goose that lays the golden egg. If you want to give the golden egg away, make sure you can lay some more golden eggs. Because you need to look after yourself, to look after others. And yet, the person couldn't see it. The person says, no, that's being selfish. I want to do this. How do I explain this thing to them so that I just want to hear your way of, explaining so that they can see the balance between these two. I find it difficult to explain to that person. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. This one is not prevalent, but also quite common. We can see people, because of the belief in goodness, in doing good, have faith in a religion or teaching, they become very self-uncaring while serving others. It's not just Buddhists, other religions also is the same. So sometimes the relatives and friends may look at it and say that this is a bit extreme. You yourself are not properly what you call grounded, and you are here trying to help save the world. Now, what did the Buddha say about this? There's another Dhammapada verse which is beautiful. It says, Attanang eva pattamang patti rupe nivesaye Attanang anusasya na kilesya pandito. Attanang eva pattamang. Pattamang means pertama. Attanang means oneself. Oneself, eva, indeed, must be placed first. Oneself must be placed first. Patti rupe nivesaye. Placed in a proper station. In a station in life. Meaning that take good care of yourself first. Atanyang anusasya na kilesya pandito. If you have taken good care of yourself, materially, spiritually, and start helping others, then no otherwise person can blame you or fault you for it. So this is what the Buddha said. Because there are a lot of people who are trying to help others, but not being able to help too well because they themselves are in an unstable station, not grounded. So this is sometimes the eagerness, the zeal of people trying to help others and forgetting their own practice. Similarly, the Buddha also meant to remind teachers of Dhamma, before you try to help save samsaric beings, you have to first have some achievement and attainment. If you neglect yourself, then you're not really able to help the beings that are in need. So if you place yourself in achievement and attainment already, then you can relate to others with the Dhamma in such a way that they too can realize the Dhamma. So this is what the Buddha meant, right? So what we can do for people who are like that, if we use a direct approach, some people can accept, most people may not be able to accept. So we can use some stories. We can quote some examples. If you know, I know of some examples of devotees. So I would say in such a time, there was such a sister, and she was marvelous, she was so selfless, but at the end she had a lot of trouble. She neglected to take care of herself. And also we can quote what you call stories from the past. We can use persuasion. But if a person does not take in all of this, and then we just give them the good wishes. We have to have an attitude of metta karuna. Metta karuna. For example, when I advise people, students, we have students, and I advise them, they cannot understand or they don't want to take it. So I cannot say, now I'm so angry and disappointed with you, I don't want to help you anymore. Don't consider yourself my student. I'm no longer your teacher. Like that. That is not helpful at all to yourself and to the student. The more helpful attitude is, okay, I have tried, I've said, I've quoted, even I said in Pali already, still you cannot accept, but I have metta karuna towards you. Metta karuna means I put myself in a standby mode, that whenever you are ready, I'm there to help. Without metta karuna, you're not on standby mode, right? You are switched off already. So metta karuna is standby mode to help. Okay? So keep that metta karuna. And that is helpful to yourself and to the person you're trying to help.
Brother Tan. It's okay. The statement, realize it for oneself, just get my understanding is through two, there are two possible ways. One is through from instruction, sata, understanding, then through practice, right? Or it can come from practice of vipassana, the realization of the truth through vipassana. Am I correct to say that?
Yes, generally yes. Yeah, realization of the Dhamma is achieved through several modes. Yeah, we have to understand there are various degrees of realization and various degrees of purification. Okay, when you realize sabbe sankhara anicca, that all the things, phenomena, conditioned things are impermanent, that is an insight. And that insight gives us the realization, I shouldn't cling on to self and ego and all those things because it's just anicca. And if I cling on to it, it's dukkha. That insight and realization is the attainment of the first stage of sainthood, Sotapaddi. Okay? At the same time as that realization, you abandon certain defilements, such as the self-importance, the ego, the view of oneself as the center of my life, sakkaya ditthi, and the wrong views of indulging in rituals and what you call rites as a means of purifying oneself. And also, there is no more doubt that this Dhamma that I have just realized is the way to end all suffering. So that's vicikicca, that doubt also disappeared. So with the realization of that Dhamma, the insight that arises from it, the defilements of these three natures also is abandoned forever. So this is the first stage of sainthood. Then comes the second stage of sainthood, where you realize deeper aspects of the Dhamma, deeper insights arise, and again, weakening of other defilements. Yeah, I won't go into detail in that. And the third stage of sainthood is the same thing. You realize even deeper aspects and abandon more defilements. Now, the fourth stage of sainthood is called the arahata phala. The fourth fruit of attainment is complete realization of Dhamma and complete abandonment of defilements, achieving total purification. Kevala parisudang paripunang, completely pure internally, no more defilements. So these are the four stages of sainthood. How do they come about? Some come about when the parami is ripe through instruction. When the Buddha says something, they say, true, sabbe sankhara anicca. Example is the Buddha's first disciple, Anya Kondanya. Kondanya heard already, they said, wow, the Dhamma eye, meaning the realization, arose in his mind. And he said, young, whatever that is of condition to arise, that is of the condition of cessation. That is called anicca. And he abandoned the doubts and so on. So he attained the first stage of sainthood. Okay? But for others, they go through a different way, but the mode is the same. By abandoning defilements, we successively attain various stages of enlightenment. The highest stage is total abandonment of defilements. Okay? So it could be from instruction, it could be from meditation. But usually, this is what happened. For the first stage of sainthood, many of them attained it during the Buddha's time through instructions. But for the final stage, it is through meditation. This is during Buddha's time. Okay? Yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. Tan, Brother Tan. I recognize a very good talk. I think I learned a lot. But at the same time, I think in Singapore, where do I get a good talk like that from the Sangha? Do you recognize some? You can recommend some?
The honest answer is I don't know enough about Singapore and the Sangha members of Singapore. I have periodically come across people who say that in Singapore, actually, there are lots of teachings. There are lots of teachings. In fact, this morning we heard the announcement. This week itself, we are having a talk on Tuesday and Wednesday. There are 2 talks. So there are plenty of talks. And so I really don't know Singapore enough and Singaporean teachers enough to be able to do that. Yeah. But keep on looking out for it. Keep on looking out. You can attend and then, hopefully the talks are not too profound. That when you walk out of the room, you say, wow, it was really good, but I couldn't understand a single thing. Dhamma should be understandable, clear, beyond question, not invoking of doubt, but giving us a sense of peace, tranquility, remoteness from craving, and no invoking of defilements. That is the good Dhamma talk. It could be as simple as doing dana with respect, with generosity, with compassion. It could be, just sit quietly and watch your breath, or just sit in a corner, radiating thoughts of loving kindness towards yourself and your family members and others. It could be as simple as that. Things that we have heard many times before. But as long as it is not invocative of defilements, as long as there is no sensual attachment and there is no muddiness, there is no vagueness about, there's a power, there's a supernatural force over you, and you have to discover it, I can help you. That kind of thing, that mysterious and vague teachings, then you have to recognize that that is not the teacher's teaching, not the teaching of the Buddha. All kinds of mystery and all kinds of... This is not the teachings of the Buddha. And Ananda specifically asked the Buddha, is there anything else you haven't told us that you tell us before you pass away? Asked him 3 times. And then the Buddha said, you need not ask me again, Ananda, for in the dispensation of the Buddha, there are no closed feasts of the teacher. Meaning to say, anything I need to teach you for your liberation is already taught to you. There is no closed feast of the teacher hiding something. This is the secret teaching. I only teach Sariputta. Or Brother Tan in Malaysia. There is no closed fist of the teacher. It's open. So whatever we need for liberation from samsara, that's the biggest problem about life. Also, the Buddha had taught us plainly. So there are no secrets. So whenever there is a secrecy, you recognize immediately, this is not the teaching of the teacher. I will share with you this story. It's the end of our afternoon session. There was a leper by the name of Super Buddha. And from young, even the mother didn't want to take care of him. So when he was a small child, the mother abandoned him, and then he was, given food at the edge of the village. He couldn't come into the village. So people would, out of compassion, not let him die by starvation, leave some food, and then quickly go. So this young leper boy, leprosy was incurable those days. And nobody likes to see even a leper. So he was living his whole life in the shadows. One day, he heard the Buddha teach. And amazingly, the Buddha came for his sake. The Buddha came for the sake of Super Buddha. Just like he came for Aggidatta, the Buddha came for Super Buddha that day. And after he was having his meal, after finished the meal, he couldn't see Super Buddha. Super Buddha was still in the forest. So the Buddha waited. And the people also waited. Sudah makan tak mau ngajar. Yeah? Already finished eating, don't want to teach. So they are waiting. But Buddha was also waiting. He was waiting for Super Buddha. For his sake, he had come to teach. So finally, Super Buddha appeared at the back. And then the Buddha saw, he's here. Oh, he hasn't had any food. So the Buddha asked the steward, the person who gave the dana, is there any food left? I think so, Venerable Sir. We still have some food. Can you give some food to the person at the back? No, I don't mean you. Super Buddha at the back. And then the steward, okay. Then people start looking. What's the Buddha looking? This is very unusual. The Buddha never asked for food. First time ever the Buddha asked for more food after his meal. But not for himself, for Super Buddha. So people say, who is this person? Why the Buddha purposely feed him food? No. But the Buddha knew he has not eaten for the whole day. Even he sits there and listens also. His mind won't be concentrating. It's here. The pain of hunger will prevent him from paying attention. So the Buddha asked him to be fed, waited for him to finish, and then started teaching. And after teaching, Super Buddha became a Sotapan. The leper boy, now a young man, became a Sotapan. So he disappeared into the edges of the forest, and people came to pay respect to the Buddha. The Buddha also didn't go away. And when people left, he came out of the shadows and paid respects to the Buddha. And with a look, Buddha knew, I have come for your sake, and you have profited from my coming. Now, at that time, because it was a very long session, it so happened, according to legend, the king of Deva, this Sakra, was observing the whole episode and said, this man, leper man, the Buddha treated him so differently. Why not I go and test him out, see who he is? Then he appeared in the guise of a rich merchant and said, oh, leper man. He said, why have you come here? Listen to this kind of talks. These kind of talks are not for you. You are just a poor beggar leper man. You cannot profit from here. Go. Don't come. He said, nothing can prevent me from coming for such talks. I want to come for such talks. These talks I have profited from. Then Tigong laughed at him. What profit are you talking about? You have nothing on you, only leprosy. How can you say you have profited from the talk? Here, I give you a boon. Ask for anything you want. I can give you riches. Just say that this talk is not for you. I will not come to this kind of talks anymore. Super Buddha, the leper, said, you can give me all the things you own and possess. I will not renounce this talk and coming to this kind of talks. Wow. Sakra was very impressed. So really? Then this guy is 变脸, you can see 变脸. And then he said, I am Tigong. He said, I can really grant you one. Anything you wish for, any boon, I can really grant you one. Super Buddha said, what can you grant me? You think I am poor? I am actually wealthy. You wealthy? Yes. I have the 7 wealth of an Aryan disciple of the Buddha. I have the wealth of conviction, of virtue, of Dhamma knowledge, of effort, of peace, of wisdom. I have this wealth of an Aryan. Don't think I cannot support myself. I can fully support myself. Support myself means support himself until Nibbana. I don't need anything from you. Wow, Sakra was very impressed. He said, look at that. And then Sakra went to the Buddha and said, this leper man claimed that he is an Aryan disciple. Is that true? The Buddha said, yes, it's true. See? So this is called unshakable faith. Right? So when you go down at the MRT station, if you meet with Tikong and say, I can grant you anything, you can become the wealthiest in Singapore, Batam and Johor also. So, don't come for such talks, renounce such teachings. Don't say that Buddha is my teacher. That is when the faith and conviction we have, whether rooted or unrooted in wisdom, really shows. With whatever people can give us, they cannot grant us freedom from dukkha. They cannot give us total peace, no nibbana. Only by taking refuge in these three jewels, by understanding properly the Four Noble Truths, then we can be released from all dukkha, not to be reborn in samsara again and again. That is my sincere wish for everyone. I have nothing to give you but what I have given in the past 2 hours. I hope you treasure my little gift and it might be useful in your practice and your life. Sukhi Hontu, everyone. Sukhi Hontu.